everyone. It's your girl, Pretty Girl Diz, and I'm here with the one and only Dr. Smack, but as I know him as Rick. And you're watching the Pretty Spectacular Football Show. We're so excited for you guys to be tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving. We had to hop on here before the big turkey day. What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? It better be pumpkin pie.
Nah, it's cornbread dressing. It's cornbread dressing. So if you listen, I'm from Louisiana. My mom makes a very special cornbread dressing. It is ridiculously good. And it has like andouille sausage, all kind of meats in it that shouldn't be in it. Like it's a real meaty cornbread dressing, yo. Like it's the best cornbread dressing ever. I love that joint. So that's my favorite one.
Okay, so I did not expect you to say that. Mine is sweet potato pie. I think my mom makes the most gluttoniest, sweetest, thickest sweet potato pie I've ever had in my life. And I don't think she's making it this year.
Why not?
Because she's talking about she in Alabama somewhere. Child, I don't know what she's doing. I'm about to tell her to go to A&M and watch some football or something. But yeah, you know what? Thanksgiving is here. We have a lot to be thankful for, lots to be grateful for, especially football. So we're about to hop into these hot takes. What we always do, this is our pre-game hot take, and we're going to be talking about NFL games. So my partner here really loves to talk about the NFL games that he's excited about. And because one of his teams is playing this weekend, I can completely understand that. So I'm going to let him tell you what he's excited about, because I'm not too excited about it.
Well, I actually thought you was gonna kick us off for talking about hip hop. We got a couple people who are you talking about it? You say you want to talk about Luda. You want to talk about?
Do you want to talk about it?
Go with it. It's your world.
My bad. Excuse me. I'm officiating. He just told me I could not officiate. Okay. Well, if you didn't know, well, now you do. Actually, starting this Friday, on Black Friday, the NFL has launched their football in flow. Now, to me, it's kind of corny. Okay, because when I think of inflow, I think of hustle and flow. Well, we're going to get into all that. Okay, so the NFL has coupled with 3 hip-hop legends, Ludacris, Hit Boy, and the legendary King Rakim. Now, before I give y'all my thoughts, let me just tell y'all, starting Black Friday, they are going to be doing a 3-part series. So Rakim's is first, and then I think it's Hot Boy, and then I think it's Ludacris. So it'll be on November 24th, December 1st, and then December the 8th. And also, they're going to be doing performances at NFL football games. As you guys know, the first ever hip-hop set for the Super Bowl was in 2022, when they had like all the hip-hop legends on the stage and all that. Now, these are going to be great. Ludacris, of course, is doing Atlanta. He's going to be doing the Atlanta Falcons, and that makes sense. Rakim is going to be doing the New York Giants, also makes sense. And then Hit Boy is in LA, so he's going to be doing the LA Rams, not the Chargers. The Chargers ain't that lit. They don't even get recognition, and they share the same field. But it's okay. Now, my opinion on this, really quick, I do want to know, like, how did they decide these 3? They're just random. I would have never suspected. Rakim, I could see, because he is a legend. He came out, I believe, in like 1986. He started on the scene. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, but I believe that's what it said when I read his bio. He is definitely he is a West Coast legend, and I agree with that. Like, West Coast legends, I feel like we could have gotten somebody else besides Hit Boy. He is a producer and an artist, and he's worked with, like Beyonce, Rihanna, Nas. But I just feel like we could have gotten somebody else. Ludacris, no shade. I just feel like he sold over 24 million like albums and all that. But when I think of like legends off the top of my head, I don't immediately think Ludacris and Hit Boy. And I also am kind of upset that we don't have any female legends in hip hop. We could have got Foxy, Lil' Kim. We could have got somebody. Like, I hate that we always leave women out of the conversation when it comes to hip hop and legends and football. Like, women don't like football, and that's why I'm here. Like, pretty girls love sports. Like, hello,
Will said Too Short, E40. Should have been on for the West Coast.
I mean, Too Short. What's my favorite word?
Now,
I can't say it.
Luda's a legend.
I'm not saying I never said he was not a legend. I'm just saying I can think of older legends if we're really gonna be throwing it back and talking about the 50th anniversary of hip hop. I feel like you could have gotten somebody who was around when the 50 like back 50 years ago when it first started. If somebody's still alive, or maybe 40 years ago. I just feel like it could have been somebody else. And I feel like Atlanta has a lot of artists, if they especially want to hit for Atlanta, because those are the key cities of where hip hop is. We could have gotten another artist. That's all I'm saying. And that's just my opinion on it. I'm not saying he's not a legend, but I mean,
look, I'm not saying Luda's not a legend either. No, I think Luda's very versatile. I think it'll be good. Hip hop, what is it called? Hit and flow? What is it called? What are they calling it?
Not hit and flow. Yo, you're crazy.
What is that? What are we calling this again?
It's called
football and flow.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it has I don't know if you know Sean or not, but Sean always has this thing where he kind of talks about, he says it has high whack factor, right? Yeah, which means that it has the potential to not hit like that. And I would say this has full potential to not hit like that.
I agree. I completely agree. Because I'm like, ludicrous. Like, no, again, no shade. No shade, but like
no shade. Don't nobody want to hear Melly. So yeah, I don't
want to hear either.
I'm not super excited about this.
Rakim's audience, his fan base is going to be well in New York. That's like, he's like true like New York. He's gonna give it New York style. You feel me? So like I can understand Rakim, because Rakim is one of the names that I grew up knowing. Like my mama and all of them, they love Rakim. So I understand that one. That one I feel like they hit on the head. That was okay. But the rest of them, I don't know. But you know what? I'm not super excited for. I'm excited for Rakim because I'm a Jersey girl. The Northerners is getting it. So I'm excited to see when he goes and performs at the Giants game. The Giants are not going to win though. But it's whatever. I mean, okay. The comment says Atlanta is going to go crazy for Luda. Atlanta doesn't have much history past the mid-90s. And I can understand that as well. But again, I just feel like we could have just had a different legend there. I'm not super excited about it, but we're going to talk about something that we are excited about, which you are excited about, Rick. Speaking of Atlanta anyway, right? The Atlanta Falcons this weekend, they got their like battle of the region game coming up, like the craziest game of the year.
it really is a crazy game, and here's why it's so crazy to me. Only because the teams are so evenly matched, and they shouldn't be. Right? Like, you think about it, you have Desmond Ridder on one side. I mean, basically a very young quarterback. He has young talent around him, but that Atlanta team seems to just be a fighting team. When New Orleans first got Derek Carr, you remember that everybody said, okay, cool, they're going to run away with the division, right? And they should be going to the playoffs, no problem. However, when it boils down to it, like, the reality of the situation is the Saints are 5-5 and the Falcons are 4-6. This whole thing can switch around right now this Sunday. Right? Yeah, and they shouldn't be this closely matched. But if you look at the Saints team, they're not beating anybody by, a ton of points. Now, they beat the life out of Mac Jones. But outside of beating the life out of Mac Jones, they have suffered losses to Josh Dobbs on his, on his kill teams tour. I don't even know how he's doing that. Come on Wednesday, beat teams on Sunday. I'm lost on that, right? I'm very much lost on that. But I still feel like this Falcons team is one of those teams that could beat the Saints. I really do believe they can beat them. I don't want them to win. You know what I mean? I'm a Saints fan, hard body. Yeah, I'm a Saints fan, hard body. At the same time, if you watch a team suffer losses to Josh Dobbs, if you watch a team suffer losses to CJ Stroud when he wasn't quite in his groove yet, if you watch a team that, can lose to anybody on any given day, and they've lost their best cornerback in Marshawn Lattimore. They've also, Derek Carr, he just came out of concussion protocol. You've lost Michael Thomas. I don't know. I mean,
listen, you're talking about this team like you ain't got no faith in them. If this your team, you want to be riding for your team. You talking about your team like you don't have no faith in them.
I'm an analyst though, right? I gotta go with what it is.
So okay, I get it. You want to analyze the game for what it is, right? Cool, cool. I haven't been keeping up completely. I kept up with the Falcons last year when I was on the field with them, but this year not so much. So it's just like,
Now,
you? Because
now,
listen,
okay,
the way you talking, my boy, is like you don't believe in your squad, and like, and then I understand
that goes deeper than that. That goes deeper than that.
Listen, I understand you're analyst and you're gonna analyze the teams for what it is. Like, listen, I'm a type of fan too. I have to make sense of it. Like, I know that for some reason, whatever reason, Pittsburgh always pulls out a L, a big fat one, like to the forehead when it comes to playing the Jaguars for the last few years. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand that. But I'm gonna still talk about my team like they hard body. Like, you talking about them. I feel like you talk about them like they already lost. Like, where's, but I understand it. Because last year's game, it was very close.
Every game that they play against the Falcons is very close, and they have a fatal flaw. They have a fatal flaw, and it's that offensive line. And man, the Falcons just have a better defensive line than the Saints have offensive line. Is that period? Right now, they don't have one of the best. They don't have great ends, but interior, man, I'm concerned, and I should be.
Will said, "Ask you about the bet you lost." So I need to know about the bet. So we just cut all that talk off. Tell me about this bet you lost.
I bet. So last year when I had a lot of faith in my Saints, because they made me buy into the Jameis hype and they made me buy into all the stuff. So I thought we had it. So I bet him that, when we played the Steelers, we stump them out straight up. Yeah. And I mean, with Kenny Pickett, you know what I mean? Like, what was I concerned about? You have the worst play caller. You have the worst play caller in the league.
Well, he's gone now. He's gone now.
He's gone now. He's gone now.
Wait a minute. Y'all thought we was finished. Don't even do that.
Yeah, like, I mean, your team just didn't look that great, right?
And neither did yours.
But that's not what they look like in the preseason, and that's not what they look like early. So they got me, right? They had me. The Saints had me last year. And because they had me like in this, like, in my feelings, I start talking reckless. Like, that's what happened. Like, I start talking reckless. When you believe in your team, you just start betting people. So I bet him that, when we play, we stomp them. Well, what happened was we lost. And because we lost, I'm supposed to go buy a Steelers jersey, but I can't find one on sale. I told him. I told him. Wait, I told him.
Did you hear him lie? Yeah.
I told him. No, I told him once I make it to Goodwill, I'll go buy one. Right? It's hard to find one at Goodwill in my size. It's been a tough journey.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So I'm really trying to be a man of my word, but it's tough. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It's tough.
No, it's only tough because you don't want to. It's only tough because you don't want to feel that shame of wearing the black and yellow. You lucky I don't have my blanket in here today because I would have been waving. Y'all know I was hyped yesterday, and I'm still hyped today. Okay,
but listen, I'm not. Okay, we did this again. If we did this again,
I'm dragging you in the comments, by the way. So I think we should move on because the drag is not going to stop.
What happened? Let me see. No excuses, Rick. You're not a loser, unlike your team. Yo, let me tell you something.
It's fine, we're just gonna move. We're gonna move on right along. You got any other exciting games you want to talk about? Because I feel like
I do. So here's what I'm really excited about. I'm excited about the Turkey Day game between the Lions and the Packers, not because of the Packers, but because of the Lions. For the first time since 1962, the Lions are 8-2. That doesn't happen for them. Right?
It just doesn't happen. It's crazy. I love me some Dan Campbell. I've loved him ever since he became the head coach over there. He's emotional, and I love him. Yeah. I'm emotional. I'd be emotional about my team. You know what I'm saying?
So he got you with the bite in the kneecaps.
Anyway, the Packers and the Lions have actually played. This is going to be that 22nd time playing, and I believe they played already 21 times on Thanksgiving. So this is some like a smaller tradition and something that I talked about earlier in the season when they announced their international games. I felt like the Packers and the Lions would be a great international game because they do have some sort of a rivalry, but I feel like you also have two now like baby teams because they're growing within their teams. Their teams are still very young and youthful, I mean, I'm not excited about it because you know,
You're not
Pittsburgh.
excited about watching Jahmyr Gibbs?
I don't care about it too much, you know. So
Oh, you wildin'. You wildin'. You wildin'. You got Jahmyr Gibbs. You got Amon St. Brown, right? Aiden Hutchinson. Alexander Loney has been really good for them. All these guys have really started to grow up right before our eyes, right? David Montgomery was somebody who was just hurt, came back, and immediately made an impact. I'm too excited about watching this Lions team. Yo, Jared Goff is almost at 3,000.
You're more excited about the Lions than you are the Saints.
I am. I am.
Poor fan.
Call me what you want. Another game.
I need my TikTok people to tell me what game y'all excited to see. Y'all probably can't even. I don't know if y'all can comment, child. I don't know.
I think they can.
How many followers you got? If you can comment on my TikTok, let me know what game y'all excited to see. If you're excited to see a game, let me know what y'all want to see here because Rick is boring me with his excitement of games.
Wallen. Okay. Another game that's super exciting to me, 49ers versus the Seahawks. That's going to be an exciting game. Who you got in that one?
Sorry, I had to fall asleep. I fell asleep.
How you fall asleep when Brock Purdy's back? How you fall asleep when one of the best teams, one of the hottest teams around is going nuts right now?
Because Bang Bang Niner Gang has disappointed me way too many times. I was in support of them, and then they disappointed me. Okay, and now they come back. Listen, if Geno Smith can get it together, I feel like he's hot and cold sometimes.
Yeah,
but he got his thing going on. I do support Geno Smith, especially because he's just a black quarterback, and I just support all things black. So I support Geno Smith. Debo's coming back, right?
Actually, Debo is back, and Debo is very special every time he plays the Seahawks. Right here, it says Debo Samuels has 501 scrimmage yards. He normally goes for 125.3 yards per game every time he plays Seattle, right? And this is his fourth career game against him. He's always killing them. So if you have him in your fantasy lineup, now it's time to start him because he's about to go off.
Okay, and especially because he's healthy. Hopefully he's healthy.
Yeah.
So he's gonna show up and show out because they've been missing him. All
right, I'm gonna give you this game. Tell me if you go to sleep on it. Texans Jaguars.
Now the only reason I'm not excited about it, but CJ Stroud has been doing his thing. He is going to be rookie of the year. So that's all I'm saying.
Rookie of the year. CJ Stroud right now is in MVP conversation. Not rookie of the year, MVP conversation.
He is going to be the rookie of the year because he's a rookie. Period.
He's gonna be he might be the MVP. That's what we start that conversation with him.
Okay, so if he's MVP, then who gonna be rookie of the year?
Him too. He taking home both. Yo, right now this dude's almost at 3,000 yards. It's 2,962 yards passing.
Turn his AFS around. He will be MVP once again.
He can't turn his AFF around. He can't turn the AFC around because
you never know. He can throw a touchdown in 15 seconds. I don't know, Chad.
Last one, Eagles Bills. Put you to sleep or no?
Sleep. The Bills look like trash. They look like garbage right now. I'm not even worried about that. The Eagles is gonna be still undefeated. Or no, they're not undefeated. They lost one game. But that's the thing. They lost to a. I'm not gonna start.
I feel like the Eagles won't put me to sleep. They're very, very exciting brand of football. And with the way
anybody who's better than your Saints is going to be exciting football to watch. So
who's your team again?
We know who my team is.
No. Who's your team again?
What about me? You got
who's your team again?
The team that beat your team and my team was beat up.
That was last year. That was last year.
We still beat y'all though. So
that was last year. That was last year. You just fired your offensive coordinator.
Your team has a veteran quarterback and still can't get right.
Y'all got two people doing one job right now.
Be for real. Be for real. You got a veteran quarterback and y'all still can't get right. So I don't want to hear nothing.
Actually, let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Not only will we if we played each other right now, I guarantee we beat y'all.
Excuse me. We have the rest of a show to get to. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We're gonna wrap it up real quick, nice and pretty. Put underneath your Christmas tree so you can open it later. Okay. Now, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
You got something else to say before we move on?
I do. Is it time for our commercial break or is it time for next thing?
I think The next topic is kind of special. Let's go ahead and thank our sponsor. The Ozell brand. It's not a brand; it's a lifestyle. We'll be right back, y'all.
It's not just about the love of the game. It's about dedication and commitment through the process and the patience to endure. There's joy in reaching your goals and peace in knowing you've done all you're supposed to do. Ozell brand. It's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle.
We are moving into the first half, as we call it, for our show. And today we are talking about the HBCU hot topic coming in this weekend on Saturday, the Bayou Classic. Rick, talk to me about this, yo. Talk to me about this.
Yo, this is gonna be probably it's the last game for both Southern and Grambling because they're out of that whole SWAC championship race. The SWAC championship has already been decided, but this is still gonna be a big game. It is the 50th time these two teams are gonna get together, 50th anniversary of this game. It is a huge game. It'll be played in New Orleans. I cannot wait for this, to pop off. Last year, Southern won, and this year, Southern's coming into this game having just fired their head coach in Dooley. I know. How'd you feel about Southern getting rid of Dooley?
And he led them. Didn't he lead them to the championship last year?
He led them to the SWAC championship game just last year. But this year they had high expectations, and he didn't meet them. And I don't know exactly why they're getting rid of it. There's some. Actually, you talked to Miss Marva, like there's some behind the scenes stuff going on with that. But if you look at it.
I feel like it's always something behind the scenes. You know what kind of upsets me in general about HBCUs is that a lot of HBCU coaches this year have been fired, and I just don't. It's just leaving a nasty taste in my mouth. I just feel like they clearly didn't believe in that man, and whatever. But really quick though, because we may have some viewers who may not understand like Bayou, like what does that even mean? Like I know. When I first learned about HBCUs, and I had to learn about HBCUs, and they're super because they don't really intertwined with the NCAA football in their bowl games. They have the classics and stuff. So how would you explain like a Bayou Classic? What does that even mean?
So to like people call Louisiana the Bayou, right? Like places in Louisiana, it's the Bayou. And so you have these two teams, these two historically great HBCU teams from Louisiana, basically fighting for, the fighting for the rivalry. They're fighting for trophies. They're fighting for history. The winningest coach of all time in college football, at least at one point, was Eddie Robinson, right? And he was coach at Grambling. And so when you talk about these classic games, HBCU games at this level, there's only one bowl game, and that's the Celebration Bowl, which we both will be at, right? But there's only one bowl game for levels that are underneath that top FBS, right? But in FCS level, you only have one bowl game. That's the Celebration Bowl. However, what HBCU schools do is they put on these classics, and the classics normally happen at sites that are not, the home site for either team. So they happen at, places like you went to the first classic of the year that happened in Miami, right? It was at Hard Rock Stadium. It was between FAMU and Jackson State, which they meet up every year to play that game. Southern versus Grambling is a classic game. Well, dang, I said it's a classic game, but it's a big rivalry, and it always meets at the Superdome. It's always on television, and it's right after Thanksgiving every single year. And they've been doing this for a really long time, and it's a great game. Look, the whole weekend is big. They first start off with the Battle of the Bands on Friday night, right? And that goes down, and then right after that,
it's the big like Battle of the Bands is something that's like super exciting, especially when you have the Southern's band and Grambling. Like I feel like it's something that's celebratory that comes into New Orleans because it is like the medium for that. I don't know.
It happens at the Super Bowl. It's a big deal, and then they finish up the Battle of the Bands at halftime. Right. And so they started off that Friday night. They finish it. Before that game, before the Battle of the Bands, there's a big step show that always happens. So when people go to New Orleans for the Bayou Classic, it's a big, big deal. This is a big game. And they don't have anything else to play for, but, bragging rights. And the bragging rights will matter. There's a trophy, though, now. It's called the Bayou Classic Trophy. They'll be playing for that. Yeah,
Oh,
they have the trophy now,
so
and
we
they'll be
want to
playing
look
for
at
that.
the silver one. Okay, before we even like maneuver into something else, who do you think is going to take the win?
I gotta say this one will be Grambling. There's just too much turmoil, too much turnover at Southern right now. They were already kind of undisciplined and that's one of the things that Dooley kind of took a bad rap for. That team was undisciplined. They were doing a whole lot, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to get that thing under wraps before it's time. Hugh Jackson has a great quarterback now in Miles Crawley. That team has been doing well. That running back Chase Williams goes off. He went off against LSU. I'm sure he's going to do the same when he gets back in his home city, in his hometown against against Southern.
Okay. So, I mean, we should have known that there was going to be a little bit disorderly when they came to SWAC Media Day and Coach Dooley was dressed in Gucci from head to toe. And then you had one young man with a pinstripe suit on, which was phenomenal. Okay, phenomenal. Okay. Props about that phenomenal pinstripe. It's something about a pinstripe suit, child. I love it. Right. And the other one had on a classic gray, very boring suit. So it's like, y'all don't even compliment each other. It's not even complimenting. All three of y'all in the picture look crazy together because it's like, what's going on here? So that confusion was also a represent. So we talk about this number like I'm not gonna get into it, but the way that these teams showed up and the way that they dressed and presented themselves, to me and to you, we talked about how it can represent on the field and it can represent in their organization. Because if you came like FAMU and they had on a boring green suit, with them, they had really great shoes on though. They had their own personal sneaker through LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron James sneaker, and that part I gave them credit for because that was the best part of the whole entire outfit. But it don't matter because they all were dressed in the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like they looked, like the couple of schools came together. You knew who they were together. They moved as a unit, and it just seems like that becomes discipline. My favorite head coach, Simmons, be saying is that you learn and develop through the process. Like you gotta do the whole process. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
he spoke about that at Media Day. It's so funny. He talked about being process driven as opposed to being results driven. And FAMU has been doing really well this season. I mean, FAMU, I know you thought they looked boring on that day, right? But they play a very disciplined style of football, unlike Grambling. Grambling is not as disciplined, as they need to be. They've lost a lot of games because of their lack of discipline. There's a lot of internal fighting with them as well. They have some issues. Grambling has their own issues, but I think they're going to get it. They'll get it together enough to knock off Southern in this game. It's always close. And we're going to have some representation at the game. Miss Marva, Queen Marva will be there. And actually all week long, she's been dropping. Today she's dropping. And for the rest of the week, she's dropping these interviews with MVPs of the Bayou Classic from the past.
Well, that's cool. Since you want to shout out the Queen Marva, my soror, let's make sure we are giving a good shout out to all of our other homies and family, whether crew. You got the 494 show. You have Not the Same. You already said the Hugh Dat show. We have Sports Talk by C. She does her own thing. You have the View Report. So you have our show, you have the main card, you got the Pretty Girls Love Sports Locker Talk. We got a lot of great things going on, not only just from podcasts to writers to music to me talking about my sports drama child. So make sure you are tuning in to follow along with that. So I just want to give a shout out to the MTMB fam because that's what we're doing and we're being more intuitive about that. But now back to the sports talk. Moving on. We got to move on. Okay. It's halftime now. It's halftime. For halftime, my halftime hot take, I'm going to be talking about Jordan Travis. So I know that we normally talk about HBCU football, but it's really important to me to talk about NCAA football in a nutshell. Oh my gosh, I can't even talk, y'all. It's important for me to talk about it because I'm there. Since the beginning of football season, I have been either at Clemson or I've been at Georgia Tech. So I've been representing the ACC conference real deep, real heavy. Now, I want to answer because I was asked one time, we're going to talk about HBCUs, like, why am I not at HBCU footballs? And I have done FAMU's homecoming. I've done the SWAC MEAC kickoff challenge. I will be doing a celebration bowl. And hopefully if I get a bowl game, I'll be doing that. But unfortunately, and I'm going to say this, and I mean it in the most kindest way, I have put in to work HBCU football games, and I have not been receptive. They have not been receptive to me. So I'm going to go where I am accepted, where I'm celebrated, and like who wants to have the coverage. And to me, I feel like HBCUs, you should want more coverage. You not saying you need it, but kind of, coverage. And I've reached out in so many other ways, and I just haven't been able to get into being that platform and in that space. And I love that space so much. But yeah, so that's why I'm not there. So I'm gonna stick to my ACC because that's who let me. Anyway, so Jordan Travis, he was the quarterback for Florida State University, those Seminoles, Deion Sanders went there. Okay. He was hurt playing against his last game against North Alabama. He had a gruesome injury. Like I saw the video, the leg knee twist. I was like, OMG. He had to be carted off. And I think a day or so later, he put something up on his social media saying that his season in his football career is over. And to me,
not his career, not his football career. Yeah, his season is over, and probably his career at Florida State. Yes. But I think he's going to focus on the NFL now.
Yeah, well, I mean, you need to get that knee right first. But for me, I love Jordan Travis because when FAMU came, FAMU, you're on my mind. When Florida State, they're in the same city, both in Tallahassee, okay? When Florida State came to play Clemson, I got to go to the post-game conference for FSU, and I got to see Jordan Travis do his post-game conference. And to me, really well-spoken, humble young man, just likable. Like if you didn't like this boy, I don't. Are you crazy? Are you crazy if you don't like this boy? So like for me, I took a liking to him because of not only how he represented his team, but how he spoke about his team, how he spoke about himself, how humble he was, and just like overall a good person. So this injury is going to be super crazy. I'm super excited though to see how FSU like bounces back. They did tear up North Alabama after that. It was like 58 to maybe, I want to say 3, but I'm not really sure. I just know that North Alabama did not win that game. So it was really crazy to see. So I'm excited to see how they pull out their next one. And I believe they're playing the Florida Gators. And then I'm just excited to see some other college football games. So this weekend on Saturday, I will be at Georgia Tech versus Georgia. As you already know, Georgia Tech gained the eligibility to go into a bowl game last week when they beat Syracuse. Now, Georgia's coming into town. Georgia's unbeaten. They're the defending national champion. So I really don't think that Tech has much of a chance. But Tech did look amazing last game, and their togetherness is like they really have pulled it together from the beginning of the season to now. Like it's a completely different team from when I first was there. Like one of their first games, I was watching them play against Bowling Green, and they got their ASS handed to them. So I'm excited to see how they do and what they can bring. I know Georgia is going to turn the stadium up, so Georgia Tech better fill it out.
I got a question, Dev.
I'm listening.
When you go to watch Georgia Tech, like if you had to kind of nail down the secret sauce, because they've pulled out some wins that I didn't think they should pull out. Right? Like they pulled out some wins that I just didn't see coming. If you had to kind of nail down what do you think is their secret sauce, what is it about that team that allows them to win games where I don't believe they should win?
Do you see my curtain go down?
I did, but look, it don't mess up the vibe though. It's still cool. It don't mess up the vibe.
Keep going. We live. We just go with it. Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
Honestly, and it's so crazy because they call it the Haynes effect. Because you have Haynes King and Jamal Haynes.
Mm.
Yeah. So when King plays really well, when King is top notch on his game, and then Jamal plays top notch on his game, and speaking for offense, they're really good. They're really explosive. They have a really dominant run game in Jamal Haynes when he is able to do his thug fizzle. When he's able to do it, get yards, run. Last week, he did do like an uncharacteristic fumble because he never doesn't fumble the ball. So like he has really good ball protection. And again, he's an explosive runner and he's short and stocky. So He's great. And then honestly, when those linebackers show up to really win and they're keyed in, and they come in being more humble than they are like knowing they're going to win, because that was our problem against Bowling Green. They came in like, we ain't worried about this Bowling Green. We ain't worried about this Bowling Green. That's when they lost. So I feel like their secret sauce is literally complimentary football. That's all I can say.
No, I love it.
They play complimentary, they look good. When they don't play complimentary, it's like, hold up. Did y'all forgot how to play? Like, what's up?
Yo, chances to beat Georgia 1 to 10. 1 being, I'm sorry, 0 to 10. 0 being the word. Okay, chances to make it a good game. Give me that. Chances to make it watchable. Dang, for real?
See, part of me in my heart is like, ooh, Georgia Tech can pull out an upset. Part of me is like, how I always root for the underdogs.
I know.
So part of me wants to give them like, it'll be a good game, maybe like a 4, because because I feel like Tennessee and Georgia Tech right now are kind of on the same wavelength in terms of strength and team, right? Because Tennessee was a knockout team at the beginning of the season, but they got a banged up secondary, and they got a banged up offense. So like they're banged up right now. So they're not the top hit, like the top caliber team that they were at the beginning of the season. So to me, them and Georgia Tech are relatively on that same line, and Tennessee still was able to come out on the first possession and get a score on Georgia. Like Georgia takes a little bit of time to wake up. Now, they at least that first quarter, they wake up a little bit in the second quarter, but after halftime, baby, they're gonna turn it up. The heat is gonna be heating. It's like when you're baking a cake. You first put it in the oven, it ain't gonna rise as much. But as the more it cook, it eventually get done.
Start cooking, yeah.
That's what Georgia does. Georgia works his way. It's like they playing you at your own game. They want to see what you're gonna pull out. They want to see what you're gonna do. Let me see what you're doing for the first 2 quarters. And they're like, oh, well, we know that game plan. So boom, we got something for it. We got an answer. And it's like,
so here's the thing. Is Georgia Tech a hot start team? In your opinion, are they a hot start team? Because if you have a slow start team versus a hot start team, right, then maybe the watchability happens in the first half. Is Georgia Tech a hot start team or a slow cooking team?
To me, I feel like they're like a U. They start off hot and then they go down and then they come back up. That's the only reason why it's super watchable, because you're like, what? You start watching it, so I'm like, okay. What? Because they did that, like they went in idle mode for like the end of the first half into the second quarter. They kind of went in idle mode a little bit, and then like Syracuse was able to control a lot of the game clock moving into halftime because they went idle. Right in that second quarter, they kind of went idle a little bit, and then after that, they started to pick it back up again. But it's like, so both these teams are going to start off, and then they're going to shoot up. So it's really going to be good to watch at least the second half. The first half might struggle a little bit. But if Georgia scores 2 to 3 times in the first quarter or the first half, that means they came cooking. They came cooking. They came out the oven like the turkey ready for Thanksgiving, child. So I don't know. I'm excited to see. I'm also excited for the biggest game. Before we move on, because we're going to move on right after I say this, because I have to say it. I'm super excited for the game of the year, in my opinion. Ohio State versus Michigan. The okay. The game of the year.
My bad. Go ahead.
Don't do that. Ohio is number 1 right now, and I think Michigan is what, 3? They're 3 or they 5. Hold on, let me look it up real quick, because the AP poll change every day, child. It changes every day.
Listen, Michigan is without their head coach right now,
and they still was balling out. Don't even do that to them. Don't. I'm not gonna say
They won. Let's balling out is a stretch.
Them boys been balling out two games straight without their head coach in their order. You know what I'm saying? This is the game of the year for at least for the Buckeye fans, for the Wolverine fans. This is the game they wait all year to see. They're gonna pack that joint out. They're gonna be fighting each other. They're gonna be drunk. They're gonna be having a good old time. They're gonna be doing
All right, so I'm gonna give you the same opportunity you gave me. Get me excited about Ohio State, Michigan, please. No, really, get me excited because
Ohio is now number 2 because Georgia has moved into number 1 again.
Listen, number 1 and number 2, football's about star players. Give me the stars? Why am I watching this game?
Not give me the stars, which is it's the game of the year. Just like the Army versus Navy game. You know, it's always exciting no matter how.
I'm watching because it's a rivalry.
Teams suck. You know, Army versus Navy is a well-known rivalry. And so is Ohio State. The Buckeyes and the Wolverines, there are like they literally hate each other. Their fan bases hate each other. It's like the Cowboys and the Commanders. Their fan bases just hate each other so bad. It don't matter if they're good or bad that season. It's gonna be a good game because the fans gonna make it a good game.
Yeah,
I guarantee you it's gonna be
so it's like the Bayou Classic.
Yeah. These are big schools, Big Ten. All right, never mind.
These are what? These are who? Southern and Grambling has way more history than these pitiful schools you're talking about right now with no star power.
Please,
no star power.
Please.
No, okay.
Please,
I mean, granted, they are.
Please, Ohio is doing this stuff. Don't be mad, okay? Don't be mad because they don't see the star power.
I don't see the star power. No, I ain't. I'm only mad because you tried to play Southern versus Grambling. I guarantee you, Southern versus Grambling.
You know, I gotta stand up I gotta stand up for the top 25 schools right now because they've been showing me love all season, and the HBCUs have it. They act like I'm not one of them.
Hold on. I'm about to tell you something you ain't gonna like though.
I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of that.
You go. I'm about to say you that.
No, I don't. I want to move on now. I don't want to hear none of
that. No. I gotta tell you.
Even if you tell me that I'm not gonna like it, I'm still gonna go to bat for whoever I gotta go to bat for. So
look. You said I gotta stand up for the top 25 teams, right?
I feel like I do because at the end, like I said, they've been showing me love. I mean, Clemson ain't in the top 25, and nor is Georgia Tech. But
that's all I'm saying.
The ACC conference, I don't cover Florida.
Neither one of them teams in the top 25.
Because Florida is top 5, baby. It ain't the ACC. Don't even do that.
One of them teams.
Don't even do that. Florida is in there. Don't even do that. Don't try to do that to them.
No. Honestly,
the ACC has been showing me love, and I love you, ACC, and I will kindly accept all the credentials that you try to give me. I'm trying to get credentials to the ACC championship.
Let me get it right. So, no, real
I don't
talk
really
though.
Want to hear. I don't
real
want to
talk
hear.
though. Wait. Real talk though, we love the ACC because actually every time they show, Des loved it, showing us love as well. So yeah, we love the ACC. I'm just clowning. We love Clemson. We go hard for Georgia Tech. We go hard for Clemson. We go hard for anybody showing us love, and we go hard for the Celebration Bowl because they show us love consistently. And we're going hard for the Bayou Classic because they showing us love too. We'll be in the building for them too. So we good, Des. We good. You ready, Mel?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, it's your world. It's Des's world.
Right.
We just
before we wrap up our show, I thought it would be a great addition to our show to do a Would You Rather. So I'm going to spit off a couple NFL teams, players, coaches, just a few things because I want to know who Rick would rather. And I know he's going to try to argue with me. He's going to try to explain himself after he select these people. So I know I had 10, but I know we don't get to 10 because he's going to try to argue with me, y'all. He be trying to argue. He want to argue. Okay? He want to argue his explanation of why he picked that person. So we're going to maybe do 5. Okay?
We're ready.
All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First one up. Michael Vick or Cam Newton?
Oh, I'm going to go Vick. And I'm going to tell you why. Yeah,
okay.
I'm going Mike Vick, and I'm gonna tell you why. I love Cam Newton. And he had one of those great years. 2015 was his year, but it just kind of boom, right after that. Michael Vick's story is so beautiful because he had the boom, the big pop, where he, changed Atlanta completely. Then he had the drop where he goes to jail. And then he had the big boom with Vic 2.0, right? Vic 2.0 was something to watch, and it was something I got a chance to witness. So that story for me is better than Cam Newton's story. I love Cam, you know what I mean? Great dude, but I'm going Mike Vick all day.
Okay. I like that because I was hoping you picked Michael Vick. So I was taking Michael Vick too.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Would you rather Andy Reid or Bill Belichick?
Andy Reid. Give me Andy Reid every day of the week. Give me Andy Reid every day. I'm going to tell you what. And I love Bill. Bill's funny as life, right? But Andy's a big guy. I have a predilection for the big guys. But on top of him being a big guy, right? He's also a guy who's shown me versatility and success. When he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, he was taking them to the championship game every year almost. Right, he left there. He goes to the Chiefs. When he's with the Chiefs, he doesn't even have Patrick Mahomes yet, right? So before he had Patrick Mahomes, he was doing his thing still, right? So he was still on his way up. When he finally got Patrick Mahomes, that's when you saw this big jump over the hump, right? Where he's shown not only that he can have success with Patrick Mahomes and a Tyreek Hill, even when he lost Tyreek Hill, he still goes to the championship and wins it. We're talking about a man who's shown me that no matter the circumstance, no matter the situation, I'm going to be successful. Bill Belichick, we're questioning his legacy right now because he lost his dude and we ain't seen him in the championship since.
He did lose his dude. He lost his mind. It's somewhere out there. Child.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's another one. Number 3.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go. I like these.
Mike Tomlin or Tony Dungy.
I'm gonna go Mike Tomlin. I love Mike Tomlin. Yeah, sustained success is like a thing for me, and I'm challenging my list every time I go 2 S words back to back. But sustained success is like my thing. I love what I see Mike Tomlin do, and Mike Tomlin took my heart a little bit, and I'm gonna tell you when it happened. I love Tony because he's innovative, one of those first dudes. But Mike took my heart when Glorilla came to the team, right? Came to see the team, and he embraced that young lady and showed her mad love. You feel what I'm saying? And he was super regular with her, but showed her so much love. And I was never a fan of hers, right? But I became a fan that day, and I was a bigger fan of his. He also stole my heart when he went on the pivot and really shared his story and was just one of the guys. Man, I love that dude, to be honest with you. Tony, I love Tony too, but I'm gonna go Mike Tomlin. That's my guy.
Yeah, and Mike Tomlin is a fellow Greek like we are. He's a member of Kappa Alpha Psi.
Well, see, I like him a little less now.
Oh, don't do that. He's a fellow Greek, and that's what all that matters. I chose him because they're like, you don't see a whole lot of like African American coaches and like that. So that's why I threw that one in there. I scratched one off and threw them in there because I was like, you know what? This is makes me happy to talk about.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, it makes me happy to talk about African American coaches. You know, so yeah. Okay. Now
let's go.
Number 4.
This is so fun. I love this so much. All right, let's do another one.
Okay. Emmitt Smith or Michael Irvin?
Good. I'm gonna go with the playmaker. I'm gonna go with the playmaker. I love Emmitt Smith, but there's a slight boredom to kind of what I saw from him, right? And I'm gonna say this: when you're a wide receiver, you're on an island, and on that island, you gotta hold your own on that island. As a running back, they had one of the best offensive lines in the history of football. That Emmitt Smith was running behind, so it was a little bit easier. Not to say Emmitt Smith wasn't a dog, because he was, and I got mad respect for him. But if you look at the playmaker on the outside, the playmaker really, really shows you when he wasn't the fastest guy on the field, just the hardest worker, one of the guys who's gonna give it his absolute all. And watching his career after has also been a joy and a treat for me as well. I love Michael Irvin, and I'm gonna go with him. And he's another one. Up, a little bit of cocaine and back up. Right?
He went down with that Super Bowl
Yeah.
match.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Super
I
Bowl
love
match,
Michael Irvin.
like, going down, baby.
Love him.
I picked those two because I know they are stars, especially within
Yeah.
Dallas. They're just stars, and it wasn't about the position; it was about them as like the players in general. So that's why I picked them. Okay,
Hey,
so this is
Irvin. Irvin also still gives back. He's another guy who still gives back, right?
He
So,
really does.
yeah, I love
He's
him.
still very active in his community. You always hear about what he's doing and how he's giving back, even if it's giving back to young ladies in hotel rooms that he's trying to smash and pass at the Super Bowl. But we ain't gonna talk about that. We're gonna move on to number 5.
He went down, back up.
Actually, I have a sixth one, but I'm gonna do number 5. Number 5.
Let's do it.
Which team would you rather? San Francisco 49ers or the New Orleans Saints?
Right now? Right now?
In general.
Historically. I'm gonna go with the Saints. Because here's the thing. For a very
Go ahead.
For a very long time, and Lil Wayne can attest to this, right? Everybody in New Orleans during the time when I was growing up.
Lil Wayne that be with the Packers and wearing the Packers up and running the Packers out there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Lil Wayne can attest to what I'm about to tell you. Okay. At that time, growing up, there was no Saints fans in your clique. Like if you had a group of friends, none of them friends were Saints fans. You were Packers fans, you were San Francisco 49ers fans, or you were Dallas Cowboys fans. It wasn't until the resurgence of the Saints when it was about 2000 when they got Ricky Williams and you can start to see, them start doing something. That's when I start really watching them and paying attention to the Saints. But since that time, and I mean, that's what 2000 or so, right? So from 2000 to like right now, I've been a Saints fan, and this journey hasn't been horrible. It's been a pretty good journey. It's been a pretty decent journey once they got Drew Brees. Now, I love the 49ers, and the 49ers have been great in almost every, decade. But I'm a Saints fan to my core. That's the one team I'm faithful to. Ask me in basketball, I ain't faithful to nobody. Ask me in baseball, I ain't faithful to nobody. Ask me about hockey, I ain't faithful to nobody, right? Like, no faith with nobody. But in football, I'm faithful to one team, and that's the Saints.
See, I needed you. That's why I needed you to come back from early football time. I needed you to express that love and that loyalty that you had to them.
Yeah.
I wasn't digging that because I'm Pittsburgh to the core. I'm gonna be loyal. We're gonna suck real bad, and I'm gonna stand beside him. I'm beside him. So I needed you to have your stand beside a moment.
Yeah, I'm beside my team. You feel what I'm saying? If this green screen came down, all behind here, you're gonna see an homage, like a ode to Drew Brees. That's exactly what's behind this screen right now.
Everybody
all love for my Saints.
Steelers start right over here, so my curtains just don't. All right, one last one before we leave.
Let's do it. I'm with it.
Okay. Trayvon Diggs or Stephon Diggs?
Hey, I'll tell you something. I can't stand Stephon Diggs. So look, I'm gonna tell you. Look, I hate.
Is it neither?
No. I'm gonna go with the other Diggs. I'm gonna tell you why. Because of his son, right? Okay. His son makes him, it makes him more tolerable to me, right? Because I don't love the Cowboys as much, but I got a real hate for Stephon Diggs, right? Because we headed to the NFC Championship game, and this man comes up with the Minnesota Miracle and kills my whole vibe. You feel what I'm saying? Kills my whole vibe. And he danced after. He did a whole thing, and he never lets you live it down. I can't stand him. Now as a football player, I definitely want him on my fantasy team. But no, as a person, how do I say forget somebody in a nice way? God bless him. And I'll move on.
You have a great one, sir.
Yeah, you have a great one, sir. I ain't with that Diggs, man. Give me the kid and the other Diggs.
Hey, yo, that is so funny.
It's
All right,
facts.
so that was my last one. I really hope you like this
Yo.
game because I want to incorporate it into our show way more often. I feel like it gives a little opportunity to see, like, a little here, a little there.
I loved it. I loved it. I can't. Okay, next time I want to flip it. I want to do it to you. Yeah. Let's flip it because that joint was fun. I really enjoyed that. Thank you, Des.
Yeah. So guys, this was our show. It's pretty spectacular, as I would think. We love to talk about football. We're just two football enthusiasts who just love to sit here and talk about football, what makes us happy, what makes us sad, what we don't like, all of those things. So if you like this show and you like this content, make sure you are following, subscribing, liking that button for this video, subscribing to us to make sure you're getting notifications from when we are going live. And make sure you're following us on all social media platforms at NCMV Sports. If you really want to follow Pretty Girls Love Sports, can't even say my own name, child. If you really want to follow Pretty Girls Love Sports, you can do that at PG Love Sports as well. We're writing, we're sports reporting, we're talking, we're laughing, we're a family. This is what we're all about. So make sure you are checking us out. And thank you so much for watching the Pretty Spectacular Football Show.
It's not just about the love of the game. It's about dedication and commitment through the process and the patience to endure. There's joy in reaching your goals and peace in knowing you've done all you're supposed to do.